All verse rising, my soul family. So with this topic, I'm going to tell you this. Like this timeline version of me, if my father and mother had shipped me off to these ancient rooted spiritual countries that a lot of the brown melanated skin, afro hair, and lock wearing people originated from, if my father and mother had shipped me off to those ancient rooted countries, right, as the Caribbeans or the melanated Asian countries, I wouldn't be upset about that because my father and mother, they birthed me in USA, the slave owner country that was made by the demon underworld Jezebel spirit people that is not humans. So if my father and mother have shipped me off to like the Philippines and Thailand for a few examples of these ancient rooted countries, as example, when I was younger, if my father and mother have shipped me off to Thailand or Philippines when I was younger, shipped me off from USA to those countries, I wouldn't be upset at them because, for one, those countries are way cheaper. Two, a lot of children grow up to be more spiritually in tune with celestial sources within themselves of intuition than most people that grew up in USA in etc. slave owner narcissistic countries that have that demonic influence from the media. You feel what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be mad at my father and mother if they did that. Because let me tell you something. There's individuals out there that had the experience of where there was birth in places like USA and Canada and United Kingdom, and their father and mother, they did what's best for their child or children and shipped them off to these ancient spiritual countries where they would have a better upbringing with more soulful vibrational people than they would being in a place like slave owner USA and growing up there and have to deal with all these slave owner media influences and all these indoctrinations. You know what I'm saying? Because I do salute a lot of these fathers and mothers that have been growing up in these slave owner countries that has no spiritual essence to them, and they had children and they did what's best for their children, and they made a sacrifice for themselves to send their children off to these ancient spiritual countries so their children can have a better upbringing. And even if they don't get to see their child again, but they ship their child children off to these ancient spiritual countries like these Caribbean countries, these Asian countries, these African countries, Brazil, Cuban, whatever. Any ancient spiritual rooted country that the slave owners was jealous of, if the fathers and mothers that send their children off to these spiritual root countries that's meant for the chosen ones, that those fathers and mothers did the right thing to do so, man. And like I said it myself, man, like, those people that's around my age group, my generation, Generation Z, those people that's living on these ancient spiritual rooted countries, man, I wish I was growing up there when I was a child in this timeline. The alternate timeline versions of myself, the parallel timeline versions of myself, has been growing up in these countries like Asian countries, African countries, and these Caribbean countries, all these ancient rooted countries that's originated with the Rasta lock wearing people and the Afrocentric people. You know what I'm saying? Man, fuck these slave owner countries, man. They don't have no ancient history. The fathers and mothers that ship their children off to these ancient countries, man, that was the smartest thing they done. I salute them.